Hi, what's up guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be looking at 12, or we're not going to do 12, we're going to do like 2 or 3, maybe 4, do a couple, but true horror stories, and they're going to be animated, so they're going to be more scary than normal. You know, if you're watching this at night, shout out to you, you're an absolute legend. I'm actually watching this, the time right now is 1:36, so yeah. So yeah, let's get straight into it. Get headphones on. True, a Beagle chat room horror story.
This story happened to me a couple years ago. It happened on a Saturday night.
Right.
I was typing out a school report for my English class and was pretty worn out from the tedious amount of thinking that transpired throughout the paper.
Yeah,
I decided to take a
enough.
break and procrastinate a little bit, maybe watch a couple of YouTube videos. I needed to take some stress off my mind, but didn't really have anyone to vent or talk to. This gave me the idea to visit a chat room called Omegle. For those of you who don't know what Omegle is, it's a chat room where you can literally video chat with random strangers online through your computer webcam. Needless to say, Omegle definitely helped with my social skills growing up as a child, so I was always active on it. I remember this one particular night. I was having trouble meeting new people. This left me a little frustrated to say the least, but that's the kind of thing to expect when you're on these kind of chat sites. That's when I stumbled upon this one guy. He looked to be around the same age group as myself and seemed like a pretty harmless individual. I decided to say hi. He didn't say anything back, he just typed the word hi in the chat box. I found it kind of weird that he would go through the effort of typing out hi as opposed to just saying hi verbally. He then waved at me and began typing something else. He introduced himself in the chat box saying, "My name is Daniel, what's your name?" I verbally said, "My name is James, how are you?" He then stares at the camera and doesn't say a word to me, completely dismissing the fact that I just asked him a question. At this point, I was convinced that this had to be some sort of pre-recorded video and that someone was just trolling me. That's when he began typing in the chat box again saying, "I'm deaf, please type in the chat box unless you know sign language." I honestly felt stupid and immediately typed, "No worries, my name is James," and gave a quick thumbs up as an act of kind gesture. He immediately typed back saying, "Nice to meet you, James," and gave me a thumbs up as well. He then typed something else that...
You know what, that's calm. Two guys just on a call talking. Doesn't seem that scary right now. You know what I'm saying? Alright, let's keep going.
Left me dumbfounded. He said, "I will use my whiteboard to chat with you going forward, because my hands will be occupied." I was confused by what he meant by that, so I typed,
Never mind, he's starting to be a bit of a weirdo.
"What do you mean by your hands being occupied?" He then starts writing on a whiteboard and raises it up on the screen, which read, "Want to play a game?"
Huh?
I typed,
Daniel, you got me messed up if you think I'm gonna play some game with you. You kidding me?
"Sure, what game you want to play?" What he did next is something I will never forget to this day. He held a revolver up with one hand and the whiteboard up with the other hand, saying, "Let's play Russian roulette." I was honestly quite creeped out by this guy and...
What did my man just say? Let's play Russian roulette. First, where the hell did he get that gun from? Second, he just looks like a weirdo. He looks like those horror people, like, you know, like in those rooms. I don't know what I'm saying. Alright, let's keep going. I'm waffling too much.
Was contemplating on clicking the stop option to skip this weirdo. That's when he wrote another message on the whiteboard saying, 1 of 6. I was confused by what 1 of 6 meant. He then took the revolver, slipped one bullet inside the cylinder, and began spinning it with his other hand. I now knew what he meant by 1 of 6. It seemed like the guy was about to demonstrate an act of Russian roulette with one bullet in the cylinder of 6. He then puts the revolver against his head. I began typing, "What are you doing? Please stop this." The guy then smiles disturbingly on the camera and pulls the trigger. Nothing happened. He starts laughing hysterically like a psycho. I was honestly disturbed, but also skeptical that the gun was real, so I typed, "Is that even real?" He then points the revolver at the wall and begins to repeatedly press the trigger until the shot was fired. I was completely blown away by what I was seeing and typed, "Dude, you could have died!" That's when the guy raised the whiteboard to...
This kid is mad. Alright, now, he's got to get his wall fixed. He's just got a hole in it, so he's clearly just wanting to die tonight. What does that say in the background? Deep Web Scares 2? Right there. Don't know what the hell that means. Yeah, he could have died. He would have died.
To the screen again, showing the message, 5 of 6. I frantically started typing, "Don't do it," repeatedly in the chat box, desperately trying to get his attention. He then began loading the revolver with 5 bullets while I gestured no by waving my hands back and forth like a lunatic. I knew the odds of him surviving this time were slim to none. He then raises the revolver against his head once again and begins to disturbingly smile, with tears running down his face. He began mumbling the words, "It was nice meeting you, James." I immediately slam my laptop shut as I hear a gunshot.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
Huh? What? I think anyone would be baffled. Man, just go to sleep. Just do the rest of your work and get to sleep. What are you doing? Just go to sleep. Oh my days. If you ever come across someone like that, just leave. No, just leave them alone. They're nerds, honestly. They're nerds, and you don't need people like that in your life. What the
I hadn't a clue what to do. I stupidly opened my laptop up with my eyes closed. I pressed my hand against the screen where the video chat was located.
Yeah, you didn't cover it for us, did you? You just see some guy with no head.
I opened my eyes, and through the cracks of my fingers, I can see blood displayed everywhere on his screen. I immediately click the exit button on the Google Chrome tab and call it a night. To this day, I'm still skeptical about what I saw that night. I haven't reported anything to the police, nor have I reported anything to Omegle. I'm not sure if that was the wisest decision, but I hope I never encounter anyone like that again.
That was messed up. Like, what do you mean? Okay, buddy. Oh my god. He's gone.
Skip it up and down.
Where's his face? Where did his brains go? And why's the gun got no blood on it? What? Oh my... Every crack of the room's got blood on it except for that gun. What the hell, man? What the flip? Jesus. True devil horror story. Okay, buddy, you kidding me?
It was New Year's Day in 1995. I was in the middle of my junior year at my college, and a bunch of my friends had come down to visit me and my roommate for the festivities.
It's calm.
We were all pretty hungover from drinking the night before, and we went out for the usual post-greasy breakfast hangover stroll around the neighborhood. 2 of these friends were twin brothers. One of them we hung out with all the time. The other we just met for the first time. He was pretty normal the night before, joining in on the fun, but on this day, we were all hanging out around the local basketball court, shooting hoops with an old basketball we found in the grass. And this twin brother kept following me around all over the place with the creepiest grin I've ever seen in my life, staring right into the nether regions of my soul the whole time. So I'd back away and then I'd join the group again, and he kept following me around. When we were walking back to the apartment, it was just me and him walking down the sidewalk behind the group, and he moved in front of me. He stared at me with that creepy look again and fell down to his knees as if he was to worship me or something. I didn't know what to do or say, so I said, "Hey buddy, you all right? We're heading back now, right?" and so on. He wouldn't say anything. He'd just be there on his knees, looking up at me with this clenched face and squinted eyes as if we were looking directly into the sun or something. Later that day, my roommate said he was tripping, so I thought nothing of it and moved on with my life.
Pretty much again, ever come across someone like that, just leave them, honestly. Just let them do their thing. They're just weird. Unless he says it was high, and then the next time you meet him, he's absolutely chill, and then just, if he's high like that or drunk, yeah, I'm good.
A few weeks later, we got a phone call from the twin brother that we usually hung out with. And it turned out that his other twin brother went over to his aunt's house with a knife and stabbed her 14 times. She didn't die, but still pretty bad. He had even called the police before going, because he knew he was going to do it, but he couldn't stop himself from doing it, because the voices and so on. The court case was covered in the media, as this was a small community where this sort of thing doesn't happen every day. I was reading one of the articles. His twin brother was severely schizophrenic and was hearing voices in his head. He believed to his very bones that his aunt was the devil, and that he had been commanded by God to go kill her. So who was this God that told him to go kill her? Well, as the newspaper article described, it was this guy in a group he hung out with on New Year's Day. It didn't take me long to realize that he was talking about me. This was over 20 years ago. I know for a fact that it was a mental illness, but just knowing that I somehow commanded him to go kill his aunt just stays with me to this day.
What the hell is even that?
Are you kidding me? Why would you put a mental patient in a room? He just demolished someone. In a room with someone who he's going to demolish. What do you write on the wall? God. And then a man with 4 fingers on one hand and 4 on the other, and then one that looks like it's fallen off on his forearm. What the hell? Look, he's just chilling dead on the floor. Jesus, man. True Asylum horror story.
This happened to me about a year ago. I used to be a janitor for a cleaning agency. I would basically take contract jobs to clean in various locations. One day, my cleaning agency gave me a cleaning contract at a psychiatric ward, also known as an asylum. To be honest, I was a bit hesitant to take the job, just because of the superstition of asylums being haunted, but I took it anyway because the pay was decent. Later that day, I arrived there. I see a huge old-looking building. To be honest, I was quite creeped out since the asylum was secluded in the middle of nowhere. When I arrive inside, I notice people giving me an uninviting stare. I'm not just talking about the patients, I'm also talking about the employees as well. To be honest, I kept it professional and began to do my job. I remember mopping the hallway and seeing some really bizarre things. I saw some creepy looking patients that had a disturbing look to them. I don't know, they just looked like the kind of people you would see in one of those Exorcist movies. I remember seeing this one guy that really gave me the chills. It was a man who looked to be about 7 feet tall. He gave me this really disturbing smile like he wanted to kill me. I can see a nurse instructing him to lay on his bed. He didn't look too happy after that. I also remember seeing a swimming class taking place. Well, not exactly a swimming class, just a bunch of patients in a swimming pool. They were all holding an exercise ball and mimicking the actions of the instructor. I personally found it unsettling, to say the least. When it was around the end of my shift, I was getting ready to head home. I noticed all the patients' doors were closed, except for one room. I could see someone laying on the floor with their legs halfway across the door. It was a bit alarming for one to be laying on the floor like that.
Facts.
I then saw the person getting yanked into the room. That honestly
That is like those horror movies when they get bolted into the room, like, boom. It just,
startled the crap out of
this
me.
is weird.
I then
I'm actually,
noticed a
I'm actually getting scared. Just got the goosebumps, man. I'm actually getting kind of scared.
puddle of blood spilling out from the room and onto the hallway. I decided to approach the room and see what the hell was going on. As I peeked inside the room, I saw one of the most disturbing things ever. It was the tall man I saw earlier. He was biting the hell out of one of the nurse's neck. You can see the nurse's eyes gouged out with blood pouring everywhere. I carefully made sure to not scream or make a sound. I got the hell out of there and immediately started driving off. I even called the cops while driving. To this day, I'm still traumatized by what I saw that night. I'm not sure exactly what happened to the tall man, but he still gives me the chills just thinking about him.
What the hell? You're not ever gonna get him a new top or anything? No, just leave those blood stains on him. I mean, he's a big lad, but his eyes are looking weird, man. And he's only got 4 toes and 3 fingers. Nice. He bite one off.
We're still talking about this case because it was made
Are
into
you
one of the
kidding
greatest
me?
horror movies of all time.
I fainted.
I don't want to see the rest of it.
I passed out.
Get out of my face, waste man. Hello? Play.
This is a story about a girl in my high school. I go to high school just like any normal person would, but I was having a little trouble with my grades.
Oh, rip.
So I started staying after school to do a little extra work to bring my grades up.
Come on, come on.
But I've noticed in school that there has been this quiet girl that attended tutoring along with 8 other people. The thing is, I would always see her staring at me, never taking her eyes off of me. I really didn't mind it, but it felt really creepy. This kept going on for about 2 weeks. At this point, I was feeling very uncomfortable. One day when school ended and tutoring started, I sit as far away as possible from her. We go home at around 6 p.m., and this day I got on the bus like usual. There was only one bus because there aren't so many people, and as usual, I would sit as far away as possible from her. But that day, when I got off my bus stop, she got off too. This was weird as she always got off at a different bus stop, but I really didn't pay any attention to it. I thought maybe she changed her bus stop or something, I don't
Bruh, run. Just run.
know. I really
Do
didn't
it.
think about it.
My
It was
man.
getting dark, and it was about a
Run!
1 mile walk from my bus stop to my
My
home.
days.
But I noticed that the girl has been following me for about 2 minutes, and
Just
I
knock
didn't
her
know
out.
why.
Just
This of course bothered me, but there wasn't really much I could do. I just ignored her, minded my own business, and I kept walking. 2 minutes later, I noticed that she kept following me. I started to get the feeling that maybe she was lost or something. It was dark, and then she started talking to herself. She was acting really weird, and I just wanted to ignore it, but
run.
she kept whispering to herself. I could hear mumbling. The sound was getting closer and closer, so I picked up the pace. When I picked up the pace, she also did too. She then
Run.
let out a scream that was so damn loud that it almost made me pee my pants. I started sprinting.
Come on.
She went chasing after me. I was getting scared, so I ran around the neighborhood. I didn't want her to go to my house because she would know where I live. Around the corner, I saw a bush large enough for me to hide in. Then she stopped as she thought that she lost me. When she stopped, she took a deep breath and she ran away. I stayed there for about 5 more minutes just to make sure. I was thinking to myself that this girl was insane and had some mental problems. After this horrifying
no.
experience, I didn't go to after-school tutoring again.
It's gonna be the last one, okay?
This happened to me on a trip to Lyon, France. I was travelling solo from the States and had booked a stay with this old couple in their house. I say old, they must have been in their mid-60s. It was a new listing and only had a couple of reviews, but they were both really positive. From the photos, I could tell that this place wasn't exactly a 5-star joint, but for the price, it was a steal and in a great location to boot. That first night when I arrived, the older couple actually made dinner for me. It was a nice touch, and who was I to refuse? Their English was decent, so we chatted and shared a few stories, and afterwards I went to explore the city and get a few drinks. I must have returned around 10 PM, and my hosts were nowhere to be seen. In bed asleep, I figured. The pair had told me at dinner to help myself to a little wine, which is precisely what I did when I got in. Nice folks.
Fair enough, yeah.
Afterwards, I went up to my bedroom to settle down myself. Now, I usually have trouble sleeping, but that night I fell asleep with surprising ease. All the travelling that day had worn me out, and that little bit of wine probably helped too, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what time it was, but I awoke in the night to a flash of lightning. You know when your eyes are closed, but you can still tell there was a flash of bright light? Well, it was just like that. I remained curled up in bed with my eyes still shut, waiting for the crash of thunder to come with it. I counted the passing seconds in my head. My mum always used to tell me that however many seconds there were between the lightning and thunder, that was how many miles away it had struck.
Yeah, that is fact. That's
So
actually true.
I'm there, counting
Honestly.
away in my head. 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 20, 30.
A little bit too long.
Huh. That's odd, I thought. No thunder.
Open
It
your
was
eyes.
then, through closed eyelids, that I sensed another lightning flash. Again, I waited for the thunder, but it never came.
Open your eyes.
I sat up in bed and opened my eyes, just to see if my sleep-hazed mind was playing tricks on me.
About time.
It hadn't been. Inside my bedroom were my two hosts. Initially, I didn't realize just how bizarre this situation was. I was still in that confused, just out of sleep state. Even still, I knew there was something off about their expressions. As my eyes adjusted, I could tell what was wrong. They were both wearing masks. Latex masks of old human faces with exaggerated features. The flashes had been from the camera the woman was holding. They had been taking pictures of me whilst I slept. The husband was nearer to the bed than the wife.
Skip it up and dial up.
Dead.
Skip it up and dial up. Skip it up and dial up.
The door. As if he wanted to be in the pictures. With me now awake, they both froze like a pair of mannequins. What do you want? At the time, I couldn't think of anything else to say. The adrenaline hadn't kicked in yet. I was more confused than freaked out. "You're dreaming," said the male, his voice muffled behind the latex mask. Then, backing up towards the door. "Good night." It wasn't until I noticed the metal wrench in the old man's hand that the situation fully dawned on me. I quickly gathered my shit and made for the front door, glancing around like crazy in case the old fucks tried to ambush me with the wrench from around a corner.
Oh yeah.
Needless to say, I contacted the police immediately, though nothing ever came of it. My evidence was all anecdotal. The old geezers had been smart enough to delete all of the pictures. My complaints to Airbnb were largely ignored too, though the old couple did remove their listing from the site. I don't know what all of that was about. Some cult-like shit? A messed up fetish? Some fucking potential snuff pictures they were making. The old man was definitely in the shots, and it was clear that he was trying to step towards me quietly, wrench in hand. Whatever the case, I'll never complain about being a light sleeper again. I still check Airbnb regularly, just to make sure they don't use it to lure anyone else in.
What a bunch of weirdos. What's going on in there? Bruh. What did I just see?
Sin.
Bruh, what? What is that? Her eyes have gone up as well. She's... They were moments, like seconds away from killing him. Jesus, man. So that is going to be the end of the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed, hope you liked. And this is a completely different video to what I normally do, but you know, the video all in sense, and I hope that it was good. So, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, and share me around. I will be doing a part 2 to this. If we get 40, yeah, just 40 likes. And also, help me get to 80 subscribers, man. It's not a lot. I want to get at least 200 this year, and I pray that we can get to that. But yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you.